Welcome to Rock Your Talk. I'm Leisa Reid, host of Rock Your Talk. I'm also the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now and proud trainer and speaker for productive learning. I'll tell you about those things in just a moment. I want to welcome our guest, Sandy Olsson. Hello, Sandy.
Hello, Lisa.
I'm so excited that you're here. Can't wait to hear about what you're going to share with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And in case you're not familiar with Get Speaking Gigs Now, I coach speakers how to get booked, stay booked, and attract their clients through speaking, which is really fun for me. And you can check that out on GetSpeakingGigsNow.com and get your free gift on how to get more speaking gigs. Also at Productive Learning, I'm a trainer and speaker for Productive Learning. I got some gifts for you there too. We are a personal development company, been in business almost 30 years now. We help people with their own self-discovery and how do you facilitate your own self-discovery. It's pretty cool stuff. I have to admit, it's mind-blowing. And right now we're giving a gift away at productivelearning.com/gift. And you can get access to a course that we just developed called New Thinking for New Actions. Who doesn't need that, right? Like we're always trying to change our thinking. And how do we do that if we don't even know what we're thinking? So this gives you some stair steps into all that whole conversation and how you can actually take something that's going on in your current life and really implement it through that program. So that is your gift to you today, should you choose to accept it. And I'm excited to have Sandy on the show because she's going to talk about mature mentoring, which I'm like, I love that phrase even because it sounds, I've never heard that before. So, but before we even get there, Sandy, tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, actually, I was laughing with a friend a couple of weeks ago about how my life is sort of divided into, two parts. And you could probably sum up the first half of my life with two movies. The Working Girl with Melanie Griffith
Yes.
and Sigourney Weaver, and then Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway. And of course, I played the roles of Melanie and Anne.
Oh dear.
Oh
my goodness gracious.
World. I was just a real people pleaser. I was very good at my jobs. Everyone liked me, and I strive to please, right?
Wow.
But I finally overcame that in my midlife, but what it did for me was it constantly drove me to try to find out, who am I? Mm-hmm. So I took every assessment. I would do the little quizzes in the Cosmopolitan magazine, all of those, trying to find me, trying to find who I was. But the real turning point for me came when I heard Simon Sinek's TED Talk on finding your why.
Right.
And I recognized that I was already doing it, that I had found it, I just hadn't named it yet.
Yeah.
And so my why is all about developing women so that they can be fulfilled and thrive in whatever they're doing. And I do that through my speaking and my mentoring.
Beautiful. What a great story. I love that. I'll have to think about what movies represent my life. I love that analogy. That's a really good analogy. So I know you were gonna share some tips with us today about mature mentoring, which is what you specialize in, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
When I thought about mature mentoring, it's really from my own realization that if I wanted to do a really good job with mentoring women, which is my heartbeat, I needed to grow up too, because, it takes a certain level of maturity to admit that you don't have all the answers,
of course,
and that you can't do it all alone, right? I mean, that's what productive learning is all about, mm-hmm. too. And so we really are better together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so the first tip that I want to share today is to, of course, find your why and live it.
Mm.
There are other words for why. You don't have to use why, like purpose, calling, essence, significance, but, there's what you do, and there's how you do what you do, and then there's why you do what you do. And most people, if you ask them, why do you love what you do? Why do you do what you do? They always want to start with the what and the how. And in order to get to that why, you've got to really dig deep.
Yeah.
And there's a phrase that I just love, and it's called "get it down to where the goats can eat it."
Yeah.
I've heard that and it makes me laugh, but it's really true, because you do have to kind of dig deep to find your why and find that that thread that goes through your life. And for me, that's, that's mentoring. And I've been doing that for 20 years, and I love it. And so I feel like the women that I mentor, I really can pour my heart and soul into them, and to help develop them so that they can be fulfilled and thrive. And for me, that's how I get my fulfillment, and that's how I thrive.
I love
So
that.
yeah, so I love it.
Very cool. Yeah, I think when I get down to where the goats can eat it, my why is it comes from this belief that we're all connected as human beings, like this whole, like as a humanity is all connected, and we have shared consciousness. And so when a person, and certainly myself is included in that, can live out my purpose, I think, like, what are the gifts that I've been given to give people? And part of that is one of the ways in which I live that out is through, helping speakers have the confidence and learn how to spread their message, because they're put on this earth to help more people. So it's like my ripple effect out into raising the consciousness of all of us. But I'm not going to do it just by myself. It's like, that's where I'm like, okay, this is part of what I've been given to then help permeate through other people. And it's the same with productive learning. It's like, the whole point of the company is to help people raise their awareness, use your higher conscious thinking. So it all ties in together to that the goats what you're talking, right? Yeah, or the goats can eat it. It's like really that, how can we raise the consciousness of our whole humanity?
Well, you and I are really a lot alike in that way. It's in that our why is about others. That's what really brings us joy and fulfillment, I think. And there couldn't, what's better than that?
Yeah.
Really. That's really cool. Yeah.
Very cool. And I know you have a couple other tips for us too.
I do. Tip number 2 is I'd like to talk a little bit about mentoring is not coaching. And so I just wanted to sort of give some clarity on that, because I think it's really important that people know the difference so that they can make the right choice when they're working with someone. Coaching is primarily someone who asks a lot of questions, and they listen intently and for the answers, and they're trying to pull all the answers sort of out of you, and so that they can offer really good feedback. And a mentor is really one who comes alongside someone else and shares a lot of their personal experience, personal examples, and they give a lot of tools for growth and understanding and direction. It's, it doesn't matter which one you choose. They're both excellent forms of coaching and mentoring, but the experiences are very different.
Sure.
And I've been mentoring since 2000, when I founded the Master's Program for Women. And I also now mentor with Biola University. I work with a lot of the women that are going through their MBA program.
Wonderful.
And then also with Forward Women, which is a international online mentoring program. So I get to talk to women all over the nation, which I really, really love.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. That's got to be really
every experience is different, which is what, you find that too when you're working with, with your groups of people, which makes it so cool, because everybody has such great stuff to bring to the table and such great stuff to offer.
Love it. Yeah. It's funny, as I get further along, one of the things, going kind of a little bit back to the first one that you were talking about, at one point I decided, here's the things that I just want to do all the time, like speaking, coaching, mentoring, guiding, facilitating, training, teaching, mentoring, kind of like, I'll pick any of those. Like, yes, I'll do any of those.
Right.
Filing, data entry, bookkeeping. No, I don't want to do any of those things. So it's like, I have my little basket of like, oh, does this fall into that? Okay, cool. I'll do that. Yeah. I like that. I like this. I like that. So I find that more and more I spend more of my time doing those types of, and we could call them jobs, if you will, but like those are the activities that I that I really thrive in and enjoy.
Yeah. So I just want to encourage our listeners and people that are watching to really think about what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
want to make sure that you get the best experience possible. And I'm more than happy to help anyone who is confused about that, as I'm sure you are as well. So it's important to make the right choice up front, right? So that you get what you're looking for.
How would they, I know I know you have another tip you're going to share, but how would they get a hold of you, Sandy?
They can reach me at Sandy Olsson, OLSSON 44 at gmail.com, or they can go to my website, sandyolsson.com.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, great. Wonderful.
Yeah. So
Sandy Olsson, SANDY, and then OLSSON.com.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thanks.
All right. And then what's
Okay.
your
Tip
third tip?
number
Yeah.
3 is, and this is really kind of my favorite, and I'm calling this one Pick Your Rabbit, because I'm such a squirrel type person, and I could really get distracted easily. And Dan Ryland, in his book called The Confident Leader, says that if you're chasing too many rabbits, you're never going to catch one. It's always tempting to chase those cute little rabbits and all of that sparkle, but it really is a time and energy waster. It just dilutes our performance. So we need to focus on our rabbit, pick our rabbit, focus on it, and because the things that we focus on expand, and the things that we don't focus on shrink.
Right.
So, distraction really just means that I've lost my way, and I need to get back. So, if we pick our rabbit and focus on it and have the courage, to pursue it, then what we're pursuing becomes a lot clearer, and our our life and our world becomes less crowded.
Wonderful.
And much more focused.
That is, so I guess that is a really good, I'm trying to again think about the books or the movies that would have described my life.
Yes.
Picking lots of rabbits and going after lots of rabbits I don't know if there's a movie about that, but that probably would have been a lot of my life. And now that's why I kind of even back to what I was just sharing about the different jobs. I'm like, okay, like these are all my rabbits, but they're all in the same kennel, right? Like they're all like the coaching, the mentoring, the speaking, the
Yes.
facilitating. Like that's my big rabbit, right? Like that part. Anyway, funny. But yeah, if I get distracted with other stuff, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Back to that one. Very good. I love that. I love that. Pick a rabbit.
Well, yeah, you can tell I'm an animal lover. I'm talking about goats and rabbits, right?
I love it.
But it's they're just sort of fun analogies.
No, it's great. It's a good way to remember.
Yeah, I think if I had a final thought for today that I just wanted to leave everybody is, don't be afraid to admit that you might be stalled or paralyzed in some way or stagnant. Maybe things are just gotten kind of boring, and you really could use some fresh perspective and some fresh wind in your sails.
Yeah.
And so, mentoring and getting a mentor, getting a coach is one way to do that, for sure. I mean, we really are better together. I truly believe that.
100%. Okay, I have a quick bonus question for you, Sandy. This is something that doesn't have anything to do with what we talked about so far. But because our show is called Rock Your Talk, I like to ask people what's one of their favorite rock bands or rock singers. What do you say?
Van Halen.
Oh! You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. News breaking. I love it. Oh my God.
That was one of the first rock concerts that I ever went to. I got some tickets, went with a friend, sat down front. I mean, that's when they had all this.
Hard to beat that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
One of my favorites is, I think it's actually a David Lee Roth song. Is it David Lee Roth or Van Halen? But it's Ice Cream Man. And I don't know if you've ever heard that one, but it's one of my favorites. Kind of bluesy.
Yeah, which I like too. But
you like that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Fun. Oh, well, thank you for being on our show. Everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. And remember to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And so you can always get more tips. We have great experts that come on like Sandy, who are sharing, some really, really helpful tips for you. And remember to be kind to yourself and to somebody else.
Yes.
Especially do that today. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.